Have you ever felt utterly cornered by life, unsure if you were battling external forces, internal pain, or even the divine itself? The Bible speaks of such a night, a haunting, hallowed night, where a man did more than pray. He wrestled literally violently with a being not of this world. Imagine pitch-black desert, absolute silence, no witnesses. Then a sudden brutal attack, a fight for survival that transformed him forever. Jacob's midnight struggle left him limping, renamed, and irrevocably changed by God. What kind of battle is so profound that it earns a new identity from heaven itself? Why would God send an angel to assail him? Why did Jacob cling so desperately even as his hip was dislocated with supernatural ease? And here is the chilling question that resonates through this ancient tale. What if the most agonizing fight of your life is the very crucible God uses to forge your destiny? If you've ever felt broken, abandoned, or locked in a wrestling match with the incomprehensible Jacob story, mirrors your own. In his solitude, his fear, his vulnerability, heaven didn't offer comfort, it offered conflict. And the man who spent his life fleeing his past was forced to confront his future. Welcome to Bible Mysteries, where we delve into deep biblical narratives, uncover hidden truths, and explore the raw emotion of spiritual storytelling. Before we plunge into that fateful night, we must understand the man trembling in the darkness, poised on the edge of a river, confronting a future that threatened to obliterate him. Jacob wasn't just afraid of Esau, he was terrified of himself. Envision him standing alone on the Jabbok riverbank, the sliver of moon barely illuminating his hands. The wind of restless spirit seemed to whisper secrets around him. His family, his wives, his children, his servants, all slept across the water, their safety entrusted to him. But Jacob trembled, facing the brother he had wronged decades earlier. Have you ever dreaded confronting someone you've hurt, the anticipation twisting your stomach into knots? That was Jacob's reality. He knew the danger was real. Esau was coming with swords, with fury, with the weight of every deception, every act of betrayal. The past had caught up, and his well of trickery had run dry. Jacob whispered, "God, please let me survive tomorrow." The river murmured, cold and indifferent. The wind stilled completely, creating a silence so profound it felt like a physical weight, making breath catch in his throat and movement impossible. The night itself seemed to come alive. Jacob sensed it. Something was near, something powerful, something watching. He scanned the shadows, finding nothing but darkness. Yet he felt it, the oppressive weight of the impossible hovering in the air, waiting. His heart hammered against his ribs, his muscles tensed. Every instinct screamed for him to flee. Then a torrent of memories. The scent of Isaac's tent, the night he deceived his father, Esau's anguished cry when the blessing was stolen. The years spent evading Laban, the endless bargains, the manipulative schemes, the desperation that drove him to always grab more than his due. The weight of it all crashed over him like a tidal wave. Jacob swallowed hard, whispering again, his voice tinged with desperation, "God of Abraham, God of Isaac, help me." Yet deep down he knew that prayer alone would not deliver him. He stepped closer to the river, the frigid water lapping at his sandals. His knees buckled, his hands trembled. Every nerve ending screamed in anticipation. The silence stretched unbroken. The wind remained absent. Even the river seemed to hold its breath. Then he felt it, a presence not human, not animal, but something else, something potent, something that had come for him. Jacob recoiled, He couldn't yet see it, but he knew it was there. Goosebumps erupted on his skin. Every instinct commanded him to run, but he remained rooted to the spot, trapped between fear and destiny, between the sins of his past and the potential of his future. He stood there shaking, waiting, his breath shallow, uttering prayers that were half supplication, half confession. For Jacob didn't know that in mere moments he would cease to be Jacob. He would grapple with heaven itself. And as the first rays of dawn kissed the sky, he would walk away forever changed, carrying a new name, a new destiny, and a wound that would serve as a constant reminder of his divine encounter. The angel struck without warning. Jacob had barely settled his cloak when the presence slammed into him like an impenetrable wall. Strong, unyielding cold, not human, a shape obscured by the oppressive darkness. He stumbled, nearly plunging into the river, the air growing heavy and suffocating. His pulse thundered, his chest heaved. Every instinct screamed for escape, but there was nowhere to run. He swung wildly, striking the figure, desperate to break free. But its grip remained unshakable. Its strength surpassed anything he had ever encountered. Each pull, each shove, each movement was precise, calculated. Jacob felt as if he were wrestling not a man, but the very embodiment of fate. For hours they fought. Time lost all meaning. The moon arced across the sky. His muscles burned, sweat stung his eyes. Dirt filled his mouth, yet he refused to yield. "Let me go," Jacob roared, his voice cracking with exhaustion. "I will not be defeated." The figure remained silent, its grip unwavering. Agonizing pain coursed through Jacob as the being contorted his body. His arms strained, his legs screamed, his breath came in ragged gasps, yet something deep within refused to surrender. He understood then that he was not merely fighting an angel, he was fighting himself. Every fear, every regret, every act of cowardice he had buried throughout his life surged to the surface in that struggle. Then a sudden burst of power. The angel dislocated his hip. Excruciating pain ripped through his body, far surpassing any blow he had ever endured. Jacob crashed to the ground, gasping, clutching the injury, the darkness deepening around him. But even then, broken and bleeding, he refused to release his grip. "I will not let you go until you bless me," he choked out. Something shifted. The figure paused, silent, deliberate, as if assessing the man before it. The night held its breath, and in that moment, Jacob understood. This fight wasn't about physical strength, not about survival. It was about transformation. Every struggle, every pain, every desperate refusal to give in held profound meaning. Each punch, each twist, each agonizing second was molding him into someone new. Dawn was still hours away, but by the time the first light kissed the river, Jacob would be irrevocably changed. The angel had arrived. The fight had begun, and Jacob's life and his very name would be eternally transformed. The struggle wore on through the night, each moment stretching into an eternity. Jacob's muscles screamed, his body begged for respite, yet he clung desperately to the angel's arm. Every ounce of his strength became a prayer, every gasp a desperate plea. He had nothing left to fight with but sheer, unwavering will, and that he realized was enough. The figure paused again, gripping Jacob in a way that suspended him between agony and impossibility. Then the words came, soft, calm, yet imbued with a power that sent shivers down Jacob's spine. "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men, and you have prevailed." Jacob's mind struggled to comprehend the words. His heart pounded so fiercely he thought it would burst. Prevailed, he whispered, disbelief choking him. I prevailed. The angel's hand pressed harder on his shoulder, not to inflict pain, but to demand acknowledgement, to compel Jacob to recognize the lifetime of internal conflict, the deceit, the fear, the running, and to finally confront it. Jacob's mind raced. Every deception, every self-serving act, every time he had run from his just deserts flooded back. And yet here he stood, still refusing to let go. Pain lanced through his hip as he tried to rise, the dislocation, a sharp, unyielding reminder that he could no longer outrun this moment. His legs shook, his hands bled from gripping the angel's arm, sweat streamed down his face. And in that agony, something deep within him shifted. He was no longer just Jacob the deceiver. He was Israel, the one who had wrestled, who had faced fear and pain in the very presence of God and had survived. The angel released him then, not with force but gently, and Jacob collapsed to the ground panting, trembling, his body broken, but his spirit reborn. The first light of dawn crept across the river, reflecting in the water like a promise, a covenant, a new beginning. Jacob touched his hip, wincing at the pain that would never fully dissipate. And for the first time, he truly understood the weight of struggle and the transformative power of perseverance. He had been changed forever. He had been named forever. He had met God in the darkness, and he had prevailed. As he limped toward the other side of the river, toward his waiting brother and the life that awaited him, he carried not just a new name, but a story that would resonate through generations. His body ached from the night's ordeal. His hip throbbed with every step. His hands were scratched and bruised. Yet every movement carried a weight beyond mere physical discomfort, a weight of purpose. Across the river, the camp stirred. Servants began to awaken, children rubbed sleep from their eyes, and the women glanced anxiously at the dark figure approaching. But Jacob's gaze was fixed on the approaching figure across the field. Esau, the brother who had once sworn vengeance, the brother who had every reason to lash out, to repay years of deception with blood. Jacob's heart hammered in his chest. Fear resurfaced, but this time it was tempered by something new: confidence, recognition. He had fought, he had survived, he had been changed. He fell to his knees, not in submission to Esau, but in reverent acknowledgement of all that had transpired. He remembered the night, the struggle, the touch that had left him lame, yet his spirit soaring. As he rose, he whispered, "God, you are faithful." Esau approached cautiously, his expression unreadable. But as he drew closer, his eyes softened. He saw Jacob limping, yet resolute, and something within him shifted. Anger, once consuming, melted into surprise and then into tears. Jacob bowed low, trembling, not with fear, but with humility. "My Lord," he said, his voice breaking, "I have wronged you, but I come in peace." Silence hung between them, heavier than any night Jacob had ever faced. Then Esau ran, not to strike, not to attack, but to his brother. He threw his arms around Jacob and held him tight. Jacob's heart ached with emotions he couldn't name: relief, gratitude, awe. The pain of the night had not been in vain. Every bruise, every gasp, every tear had led to this moment: reconciliation. Esau stepped back, smiling, still holding Jacob's shoulders. "You are my brother," he said simply. "Nothing can change that." Jacob's eyes filled again, this time with understanding. The struggle with the angel, the wrestling in the darkness, the pain in his body, all of it had prepared him for this moment. He had faced God, and in facing God, he had learned how to face man. As the two brothers walked together toward the waiting camp, the river glittering in the morning light, Jacob knew one thing with certainty: the man who wrestled in the dark was gone. In his place stood Israel, a man reborn, named by God, and ready to embrace the future without fear. The night of struggle had ended, but its lessons, its scars, and its transformative power would endure forever. The camp had settled into an almost unreal calm. Children played quietly by the fires, servants moved about their tasks, and the wives watched their husbands with relief etched on their faces. But Jacob remained restless. He sat alone, set apart from the others, the morning sun warming his back, yet unable to penetrate the chill that lingered deep in his bones. His hip throbbed constantly, a tangible reminder of the night's ordeal. Every movement echoed the strength of the figure he had wrestled. Every breath brought back the fear he had faced and the unwavering determination he had discovered within himself. He replayed the scene on the riverbank the moment the hand seized him in the dark. He recalled the surge of panic, the desperate struggle to break free, the screaming muscles, the shaking soul. And he remembered the persistence, the refusal to yield regardless of the cost. Jacob gently touched his hip. It would never be the same. Yet that pain, that permanent mark, held meaning. It was proof of a night when heaven had reached into the earthly realm and demanded something of him, proof that struggle, no matter how brutal, could transform a man. He recalled the figure's words, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men, and you have prevailed." The words echoed in his mind, resonating with both terror and comfort. He had wrestled with God. He had wrestled with himself. He had confronted the darkest parts of his existence and emerged alive. A quiet, profound realization settled within him. The man who had spent his life running the schemer, the deceiver, the fearful son, was gone. What remained was Israel, a man forged in struggle, blessed through suffering, and named by God. Jacob gazed toward the horizon, the river shimmering beneath the morning sun. He thought of Esau, of their reconciliation, of the brotherhood restored. Above all, he thought of the night, the darkness, the figure, the wrestling that had irrevocably altered him. A shiver ran through him, not from fear, but from awe. He had encountered the divine. He had walked through the fire of struggle and emerged alive, changed, transformed. The profound silence of the morning enveloped him as if the world itself recognized the magnitude of what had transpired. Jacob understood that some battles are destined to leave indelible marks on the body, on the spirit, on the soul. That night on the Jabbok River would remain with him always, not as a memory of pain or fear, but as a testament to transformation, a reminder of God's hand reaching into the darkness and the man who refused to let go. The sun had fully risen, yet Jacob barely registered its warmth. His mind was still trapped in the night that had irrevocably changed everything. The struggle, the pain, the fear, the angel, the blessing. Every detail remained vivid, every sensation still sharp. The unyielding grip, the oppressive weight, the darkness that seemed sentient, and the searing revelation that he had faced God and survived. He glanced at his family across the river. His wives and children, once fearful, now smiled, sensing the shift within him. Yet no one could truly comprehend the depth of what had transpired. That struggle belonged solely to him, a secret etched onto his soul a confrontation with heaven itself. Yet its effects radiated outwards. Every decision he made from that moment forward, every word he spoke, every path he followed, would bear the weight of that night. Israel, once Jacob, would no longer be a man defined by fear and deceit. He would be a man who understood struggle, who had encountered divine power face to face, and who had been transformed by it. Even the limp, a permanent reminder of the encounter, became a symbol not of weakness, but of endurance, a testament to the fact that some battles leave scars, but those scars are proof of life, proof of perseverance, proof that God moves in ways beyond human comprehension. Jacob would teach his children, he would teach his grandchildren, weaving tales of struggle, courage, persistence, and divine encounters that would shape his family for generations to come. Israel was no longer just a man. He was the bearer of a legacy forged in the crucible of midnight struggle, blessed in pain and honored by God. He stood by the river one last time before resuming his journey. The water mirrored the sky, the trees, the sunlight. But the reflection Jacob saw most clearly was that of himself, the boy who ran, the man who feared, the schemer who lied. All of them were behind him now. What remained was Israel, a man transformed, named by God, ready to step into the future he had fought for. Every struggle, every bruise, every tear, and every whispered prayer etched into his being. And in the silence that followed, as the river continued its ceaseless flow and the wind whispered through the trees, Jacob recognized something profound. The night on the Jabbok River would never leave him. It had molded him into the man he was meant to be, and it would guide every step he took from that moment onward. Some battles are private, some brutal, some leave marks that last a lifetime. But for Jacob, that night was his greatest victory, not over men, not over fear, not even over the angel, but over the doubt, the hesitation, and the weakness that had plagued him his entire life. He had wrestled with God, and he had prevailed. He spoke quietly, almost in disbelief, "God, I saw you. I felt you. I don't know how, but I know you were here, and I survived." The words trembled on his lips, heavy with awe and trepidation. He grasped a truth that the night had revealed: God's power is not gentle, and his blessings are not free. They demand confrontation, endurance, and surrender. Jacob pressed his hand to his hip, the injury still raw, still painful. The physical pain mirrored the emotional burden he carried. Each bruise, each ache, each stiff movement served as a reminder of what it had cost to meet God in the darkness. Yet despite the pain, he felt something new stirring within clarity, strength, a strange, unwavering confidence he had never known. The struggle had stripped away deceit, pride, and fear, leaving behind a raw, unshakable truth. He thought of all the times he had fled, lying to his father, stealing the blessing, running from Esau, bargaining with Laban. Every decision had been rooted in fear, in cunning, in a desperate quest for survival. But on this night, Jacob understood that fear alone could not define a man. Courage defined him. Perseverance defined him. Wrestling with God defined him. He whispered, "God, I will not run anymore. I will not hide. I will carry what you have given me, and I will live it fully." As Jacob rose from the riverbank, leaning heavily into the pain that now marked every step, he understood something profound. Obedience would no longer look like escape. It would look like standing still, fully present. The limp slowed him, stripped away haste, and forced him to feel each moment deeply. Transformation, he realized, does not rush. It settles slowly, carving truth into the soul. The man who once depended on schemes now depended on trust. The one who manipulated outcomes now surrendered control. Jacob finally learned that true blessing is not taken by force or cleverness, but received through brokenness and persistence. God had not come to crush him in the night. He came to dismantle the version of Jacob that could not carry what was ahead. Many of you know this place. You have wrestled in silence. You have prayed prayers that seemed to echo back unanswered. You have endured seasons where comfort never arrived, only confrontation. And like Jacob, you may carry scars that no one else sees. Scars of betrayal, loss, fear, or exhaustion. But hear this clearly, scars are not evidence of failure. They are evidence of survival. God does not always meet us with gentle explanations. Sometimes He meets us with resistance, not to reject us, but to refine us. The struggle exposes truths that ease never will. Jacob did not leave the Jabbok River with certainty about the future, but he left with something greater, a new identity, a new courage, and the strength to face what awaited him. So ask yourself this: what if the battle you are in right now is not punishment, but preparation? What if the pain you are enduring is forging the strength you will soon need? Like Jacob, you may feel wounded, cornered, or weary. But if you are still holding on, you are not losing. You are becoming. Here at the Bible Mysteries, we explore these moments where Scripture meets real life, where ancient encounters with God echo into our modern struggles. If Jacob's story spoke to your spirit, you are not alone. Like this video to honor the battles you've survived. Comment below and share what this story awakened within you. Your voice matters here. Follow and subscribe to the Bible Mysteries for more deep dives into the hidden power, tension, and transformation found in the Bible. Some struggles leave marks, others leave purpose, and some, like Jacob's and perhaps yours, change everything forever.